Okay, so you guys got to do something with me because I want you to see and hear and feel my platform. So I want you to turn to your right and find somebody and shake their hand. First of all, I want you to tell that person why you live in Winter Park. Just give them that and tell them why you live in Winter Park.
Because it's warm. Oh, usually.
All right, you got to hear this one. Go ahead.
That's because Florida State won the national championship.
All right, now, turn to your left. Turn to your left, and this time I want you to give that person a knuckle, whatever you call those things. All right? I want you to tell this person what is it you have to show everybody who comes to visit you in Winter Park. When they come to visit you, what do you make sure everybody goes to see? What's the one thing? What is it? All right, one more thing to think about. Last one. He's not a plant. Last one. If you had the ability to say there's something we're missing, there's something we need, there's something we need to do, what would it be? What do we not have that we need? Think about that. Tell that same person that.
Reelect Sarah.
Reelect Sarah.
All right, guys, there's my platform. My platform's about the past, the present, and the future right here in this community. And what I can tell you is that this is about balance. Balance between why we all live here, balance with this great place called Winter Park you can see, and balance with whatever it is we're looking for as our vision for the future. So what we know is that we have to have balance. And I am very much a balanced person. Just ask my husband. Ask my son. I will tell you that I can tell you that balance is key. We have to balance all three of those, and we can do that right here at this place. You wonder why we have this at this house? Is this preservation at its best? Is this preservation at its finest?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alan, where are you? I saw Alan here. You see Alan and Linda Keene, who so keenly redid this place, and thank you, Alan, for letting us do this here. But this is preservation from the past. And then I look out and I see Park Avenue. What a great place, because we all love to come down to Park Avenue. And then is Harry Barley still here? Where's Harry? He was here earlier. And I look over at the train station. We're going to dedicate that new train station on March the 3rd. Isn't it pretty? And what do we know is going to happen when we have these new commuter rails coming through? So we know right now that the past, the present, and the future are vital. So when it comes to leadership, in leadership in action, I have three characteristics. These are three characteristics that I call my 3 R's. You know, I'm an educator, and we always talk about the 3 R's. I told Clark they were reading, writing, and arithmetic, and he said, Mom, that doesn't make sense. They don't even all start with R's. I said they did to Will Rogers. So anyway, my first R, and the one R that I can tell you is really important, is that when you think about me and you think about leadership, you got to have somebody in this community who's always going to be respectful. Now, all of you all are respectful, and so am I. And respectful came real easy for me because I have a mother who lives right over here, 92 years old, and she still hasn't ever said anything bad about somebody, okay? She's that kind of a person. I had a daddy who used to say to me, Sarah Lynn, you may be better off than some people, but don't ever think you're better than other people. You see, I learned early on in life to respect everybody. And I can tell you at the table, we do that. We respect each other, and we respect one another, and we respect this community. That's really vital. When I ran 3 years ago, I said I wanted to bring this community together. I did not like the way we were portrayed. I did not like all those people that were mean to each other. And you know what? We're not. We have a whole lot of 5-0 votes, and we do that because we're respectful. What respectful looks like at the table is this. You know, I got elected vice mayor. That's pretty cool. All the other guys unanimously elected me. So you know what that means? When the mayor can't go, I get to. That's what it means. And so sometimes I probably get some jobs that some people think aren't that great, but I love them. Because the other day I got to go to Maitland Middle School and help with the indoctrination of the new people into the Honor Society. And I was thinking about what to say to them. And you know, my whole life I've been married to a person who was honorable. And I was always cool to have a husband that was honorable. Now, George, raise your hand, because the bottom line of it is, anyone who knows my husband knows he is an honorable man. And it's nice to be married to that, but when I got elected, I got to be called honorable too. And he said, you are honorable too. And so, the fun thing about being honorable, and I told this to the kids, was when people call you that, you become more so. We used to say in education, and my friend Janelle's here. Where's Janelle? One of my principal friends, and she said, and she knows this quote, we used to say, children invariably become what we call them. And that's true of all people. And if you're called honorable, you are honorable. And I will tell you that you have honorable people representing you, and that's one of my characteristics. That's one of my R's. My second R is reliable. And I can tell you that you can count on me. If I give you my word, it's good. And that I'm going to be there, and I'll probably be there early. And I will assure you that reliability is important in these roles. So here's what reliable looks like at the commission level. Tomorrow, Steve and I, now you guys, Steve, raise your hand. All right. Applause. He's got it, guys. He's got 3 more years, and he doesn't have to go through this for 8 years. Are we happy about that? Let's have a big round. So I'll tell you, and thank you, Steve. And Steve will be the first to tell you that at the commission, we get this packet every Wednesday right before our meeting. It may be 200 pages, it may be 800 pages. The first thing I do is read it. After I read it, I make a list of questions. I am yet to have a time that I've gotten a packet that's going to be in front of me that I haven't read it and made questions. The next day, I always sleep on it, okay, because that's just something I've always done. I've made my request of what I need to know. And I can assure you, Steve does much the same thing. We are, as the old Boy Scout motto used to be, well prepared, and we are be prepared. And I will promise you, that's what reliability is about. And my third R is responsibility. Responsibility is something I've always had. I've never remember not being responsible. I was responsible when I was a kid, and I used to be the one that made the speeches from flying up from Brownies to Girl Scouts. I've always been responsible. And you know why? Because I like it, okay? I like being responsible. Any of you all have kids that I taught in school? I haven't seen any parents here. Yeah, there's one here. And I taught his kids in Sunday school, and now I teach all that. I have to tell you that there's nothing that you can trust more than your own children, okay? And when you trust somebody like me with your children, that's the highest responsibility. I see my friend Barbara. I didn't see you before, Barbara. Barbara knows about teaching. She was a teacher. She was responsible for my kid once, weren't you? She was actually the teacher for my children. Miss Peggy back there, another teacher. We know what responsibility is about. We are responsible people. So what does responsibility look like? At the commission level, here's what it looks like. When we get that packet and you get questions and you don't actually get the answers you want, then you end up saying, I need to know more. So one time, we had this thing coming up a couple years ago, and there was a piece of property that some people wanted to turn from R1 to R3. And so I went and got Clark. Now you guys know Clark, right? My child, Clark, raise your hand. Because I have to tell you, Clark is smart, okay? And he's the land guy for Standard Pacific Homes, so he knows a lot about land. And he tells me about it. And so I said, come on, walk with me and tell me about this land. So he walked with me, we walked the neighborhood, and we found out something real fast. The neighbors told us, hey, we want this to be R2, not R3. The neighbors, the people who live there, the people who care, told us what they wanted. So when I got back to the commission table on Monday and we started voting, we had 2 for R3 and 2 for R1, and I was smack dab in the middle once again, okay? And I said, we can compromise, because whether you like it or not, when you're a commissioner, compromise is part of the deal, isn't it, Steve? And we know that, and guess what? That's a good thing. It's a very good thing. And the reason it worked is we ended up with R2, thank you very much. And what happened that made my day is this friend of mine over here, Steve, came in about 3 months later and said, you know something? I didn't really want that, but we got a better project as a result of it. So is that something, and you know what it really tells you? He's a big man to come back to the table and say that, isn't he? So good for him. Thank you, Steve. And I really hate you for getting through this without having to go through this. It's okay. I guarantee you Steve does not want anyone other than me sitting beside him because he knows I will keep him under control. So my 3 R's, my friends, are very easy. They're respectful, they're about being reliable, and they're about being responsible. So there are 3 things I can tell you I am. There are 3 things that I'll always be. And I'll end with just 2 quick quotes. They're quotes about this great ball game we all watched last night. And you all know that they say sometimes that Lombardi used to say, winning isn't everything, winning is the only thing. And when it comes to this election, winning is the only thing, okay? But the really cool one that I read that really meant a lot to me was one that John Wooden said. Wooden said, to win you need talent, to repeat you need character. And I want you to know that I have character. And I think you know that. And I plan to always have character. And that character is what's helped us become the city that we are today. So I want my friend Bruce Blackwell to come up and tell you one more time about what things we need to do to make sure we keep going the way we're going. Thank you, Bruce.